of statehood, as these are very often my family stories as well. Nowadays, a lot of my cousins and I get to spend time in libraries and museums and schools and churches every now and then on a boat, sharing the history of our island home. And I do very much appreciate that you guys came out to learn a little more of the history of Hawaii. We're going to see spots from the ocean that you just go zooming by in your car. So this should be a very enjoyable trip. Now we begin and end our journey here in beautiful Kailua Bay. The Kailua, the two seas, once the capital of the island and shortly the capital of the kingdom, until it later moves over to the island of Oahu. The bay actually has two parts. Oneo is the southern lobe. This one here in the north is called Kamakahonu, named for a large rock that sadly has been buried over by the modern pier. It used to be visible way out to sea, kind of a landmark. Looked like a sea turtle sticking his head out of the ocean and staring at you with one eye. Maka is his eye, Honu is the turtle, so Kamakahonu, the eye of the turtle, the name of the northern lobe of Kailua Bay. If you look across the pier, you'll see a grass house built in the native style, a hale, H-A-L-E, the word for a building or house. It's built on top of a temple, a heiau. This one is called Ahu'ena, and it is attributed to the arrival of the High King Umi Aliloa, who brought the kingdom from Waipio Valley on the eastern side over here to Kailua Bay in the late 1400s. The temple is built out in the ocean, dedicated to the god Ku Kailimoku, who always returns from the sea, and oftentimes his temples are built right up against the edge of the crashing waves. Ahu'ena was later rededicated by Kamehameha, our founding king, after winning the civil war that broke out on this island in 1795. Once he had all of the districts under his control, he also came here to Kailua Bay, rededicated Ahu'ena, before going on to conquer the islands of Oahu and Maui. Now the temple was destroyed with the overthrow of the old religion in 1819. What we see today is about 2/3 the original size, reconstructed back in 1970 by a community organization that continues to maintain the temple. You look beyond the temple site to the two beige buildings built back from the beach. The modern day Kamehameha Hotel is built on the grounds that were once the royal compound of our founding king. Now that rock I mentioned is more modern times referred to as the Plymouth Rock of the Pacific, because Kailua Bay is also where the early missionaries arrived back in 1820. If you look straight off the bow, you can see the white spire of the church built by Asa Thurston and his wife and their congregation. It's called Moku Aikawa, built of stone back in 1832. The original church building was made in the native style and sadly did not survived the candlelight service at Christmas time. The grass house burned to the ground. So they made the church out of stone, and it has remained active from that day to the present on the National Register of Historic Places. Between the church and the bay is a two-story beige building with a green roof. This is Hulihe'e Palace, and it was built about the same time by the governor of this island, a chief called Kuakini, the younger brother of Ka'ahumanu, who was the favorite wife of Kamehameha I. It remained in royal hands through the reign of King David Kalakaua, who took pains to collect and find a lot of the heirlooms that belonged to the royal family, and they are in storage there. Today, Hulihe'e is a museum operated by the Daughters of Hawaii. Although it was closed in parts of the pandemic, we hope it reopens very soon. Now, just south of the palace, we see the long red roof building with its name painted on top, just in case I forget. The Kona Inn is a famous landmark on the Kona coastline. A lot of this development has popped up in the last 20-30 years. There were very few buildings back at the turn of when we became a state in 1959. The Kona Inn was built in the 1920s and was considered the most modern hotel anywhere on the island at the time. Most hotels only had 4 rooms or 6 rooms. This one had 30 rooms. It also featured indoor plumbing, making it very popular with actors and radio personalities, politicians, and sports stars. All of them would come here to Kona Inn, sign the guest register, go hunting for big game fish and enjoy Mai Tais at every sunset. Now just to the south of the long red roof is a short red roof. That was once the tavern that supplied food and beverage for the guests at the hotel. During World War II, all of the bars were closed under martial law. There was prohibition in the islands during the war, but the bar here remained open as the government had declared it an officers club for the serving military, and that meant the coffee farmers and the ranchers up in the mountains could come down here and rub elbows with the military, spend their paychecks. Today, the Kona Inn is no longer a hotel. It's mostly retail space, as we have so many other hotel offerings up and down the Kona coast. It's shops and offices, but still an important landmark on our beach. Now, just to the south of the red roofs, we see a small brown roof surrounded by coconut trees. This is the Hale Halavai. There's that word we just learned, Hale, that means a building. And Halavai is a gathering place. There have been many kinds of gathering places. Back in the kingdom days, there was a courthouse on this location where people would gather to come hear the judge. Today it belongs to our Department of Parks and Recreation. Still a gathering place all through the year for programs from our keiki, our little ones, all the way through to the kupuna, the elders that we revere so much. Now we are starting our way south. We're going to head down to Kealakekua Bay. And as we pass by sites along the coastline, I'll be sure and point them out to you. In between, Brother Kalima is going to tickle your ears with his music. And that's how it's going to go until we reach Kealakekua Bay. So relax. If there's anything you need, lay down the cliff. That's why we're all here. Keep an eye out for sea life. It's the beginning of whale season in